For this review video, I'm actually doing a review of two things at the same time. I'm actually reviewing the new Nordstrand pickups that I got for my jazz bass. These are the 51 split Ps. And then I'm also reviewing the Sacrilege control plate for jazz basses, which is made by Circuit Electronics. And so I got both of these things basically at the same time, so I installed them at the same time and figured I'd just review them both at the same time and have a little fun with them. First of all, I've got two of the Nordstrand split P pickups, but I've only got one in so far. So I went ahead and got excited and installed one before I actually showed you all what the actual packaging looks like. So this is the other pickup. Actually, they both came in the same box. You can kind of see how they're packed. Very well packed here. Got lots of little cushioning in there. And then here is the other pickup that I'll be installing. Now, funny enough is that I actually only ordered one pickup. I ordered this one, and when I opened the box, I was like, there's two in here, what's going on? And so I realized they had actually sent me two pickups as if I purchased a regular full set. I did email Nordstrand back and said, hey, you guys, I only paid for one pickup, but you sent me two, so let me know what I need to do to ship this other one back. And they said, that's okay, just our mistake, just go ahead and keep it. So that's pretty cool. So obviously that gives me a very good impression already of Nordstrand. It won't skew my review of the pickup in any way. Well, maybe just a little bit, but it was, you know, I did pay for one pickup and thought I was getting one pickup, and they thought I had ordered two, so it wasn't like they were like trying to do me any favors. They just, after they realized they made a mistake, then they said, yeah, just go ahead and keep it, you're fine. So that was really nice of them. And then on this Sacrilege, and you're probably wondering, well, why is it called the Sacrilege? That sounds weird, but I guess it's because, well, it's a jazz bass, it's a traditional bass, and this particular product is doing something a little different, a little non-traditional for a jazz bass, which would be sacrilegious. So that's where it gets its clever little name. And you can hear more about the Sacrilege control plate on my podcast, because I actually did a interview with Jeremy, who's the owner of Short Circuit Electronics that makes this product. Did an interview with him on my podcast, which is the Bass Guitar Worship Blender podcast. So definitely check that out. And this is a really cool product too. It's a little different in that you've got a volume and tone stack here. Then you've got a blend knob here, and then you've got this Varitone switch, which allows you to switch between 3 different flavors of tone. And that's the cool thing about this control plate. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the review started. Also, something to keep in mind is I basically did variations of the same bass line so you could hear the differences with the different pickups. And of course, I haven't recorded this one yet because I still got this older pickup in here. But I recorded all the original pickups, the Fender pickups, as well as doing the Nordstrand pickups, and then also different variations using the Varitone switch on the new control plate. And I should also mention that I'm realizing after the fact now, listening back to the song, I probably should have picked a different song for the bass, because I don't know if the jazz bass really works for the song. I ended up recording it with a fretless. So anyway, it'll at least give an example of what it sounds like. Also, because I didn't feel like recording me playing the same bass line 50 times over on film and editing all of that. I just figured, well, I'll just record one pass of me recording the bass part and then just swap out the audio for each different variation. So that's why every take of me playing the song will look like the exact same one before it, but it'll sound different. So okay, so let's get started, and yeah, let's check out these cool new products that I got. Okay, it's worth noting that when I was recording the bass line into my computer, you couldn't really hear much of the difference between the Varitone switches and the tone settings. So real quickly, I was just going to play that same bass line with a few different settings on the bass through my amp, because you can hear the difference a whole lot more. So here's the tone all the way up on the bridge pickup. If I was to take the tone down all the way, so obviously you can hear a big difference there. And that's, I believe, that's the top position. So here's the middle position. And here's the bottom position on the Varitone switch. Now you can definitely hear a big difference between the switches and the tone. And now if I go to the neck pickup and do the tone all the way up on this, so there's a big difference now. Let's go to the bottom switch and the tone all the way off. Middle position. Top. Now you can hear the difference a whole lot more. Doing the middle position, we'll kind of do the tone a little bit up there. So yeah, you can really tell through an amp. It seems like a whole lot more than I could on my computer, because when I was recording it, I was like, is this thing even making any changes? It was very subtle, so that's why I wanted to really quickly do this amp test for you so you can hear it through an actual amp. All right, so here's my first attempt ever at soldering. And so here's the old control plate here, the original one with the base. And looks like I've got the new one all wired up. I didn't take video of me doing this process because, quite honestly, it's my first time ever soldering, and I don't know if I'm really that good at it, and so I didn't want to give anybody any bad examples of how to solder. So I did not show me doing it, but it took me about an hour to kind of go through and figure it out. I also referred to the video from Short Circuit Electronics. They kind of explain how to do the wiring, and so yeah, I'm just kind of figuring it out. Hopefully this will work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in an audio cable here from the output here and go into a tuner, see if I get a signal before I get it all, put the control plate back into the base. All right, I've got the audio cable plugged in, and it's going into the tuner. So I've got the volume all the way up on it. Let's see if it gets a signal. Uh-oh. I might not have did it right. Oh, there we go. I didn't have that on. Come on. Oh, yes, I've got a signal. All right. Way to go. All right, let's get it all wired back up and plug it into an amp and see what it sounds like. Okay, so the control plate is really quite cool. It's got the three settings here on the tone switch. Basically, you switch between these 3 different settings, and each one has a different tone capsule attached to the setting so that you have a brighter to darker sound when it's all the way up. You can kind of hear that's with the tone all the way rolled off. So now if I switch down a space there, I hear how it's a little bit brighter. Go down to the next one. Now you can hear it's much brighter. So the top one, bottom one. And again, that's with the tone all the way off. So if I roll the tone all the way up, that's with it all the way up. So it kind of cuts off the high end without really muffling the tone too much. Whereas if I'm on the top switch here, it really muffles it a lot. Then you've got, of course, the middle position, which is kind of in between, I guess the Goldilocks position. So you can kind of see how it kind of gives you some different flavors of tone that you can play with, so that's really quite cool. And the only thing that I could complain about on this control plate is since you've got a stacked knob here, and this might just be maybe the way the knobs are on here, maybe I can just adjust it. I haven't actually played with it, but sometimes since they're tight together, sometimes when I turn down or turn up the volume, it can actually adjust the tone knob a little bit, and vice versa. Sometimes if I adjust the tone knob, it can adjust the volume because they're so close together. The friction kind of catches and it kind of moves the other one. So I don't think that's an issue. It's not an issue with the actual control plate. It's just an issue with the knobs. So again, maybe I can play with that so they're a little bit. They're not so tight together. But anyway, that's the only thing I can think of to complain about it. Otherwise, it's really quite a cool little device. I like having it on the bass. It allows you also to quickly switch between some different tone flavors. Like for example, if you have the tone down, say I'll put it somewhere in the middle, and then I can just do a switch. It kind of takes off, you know, if you want to have a little bit of a mellower tone in a certain part of the song, you could just kind of do quick switches on the switch. Or you can just switch it in between songs if you want something a little bit more mellow. Then you want something a little bit more biting. You can change that around pretty quickly and easily. So that's really nice. Then on the pickups, which I'm really liking a lot. Really, if you I've actually got it switched over to the bridge pickup right now. I mean, you can hear that it has a, kind of that jazz bite to it, but with kind of a warmer flavor to it. It's not quite as nasally, which I do admit kind of like the nasally jazz bridge sound myself. But it still kind of has that tone that you expect in the jazz bridge pickup, but it kind of warms it up a little bit. And then of course the switch over to the neck position. Definitely a big full sound. And of course in between, you get, there's bridge completely in the middle, and of course you can play with your different tone settings. So tone all the way up. That's on the neck position in the middle. And then on the bridge. And And so yeah, it's just all around a great combination. So yeah, I'm liking it. I think both of them are thumbs up for, you know, for considering. I definitely like them a lot. So definitely check them out. You got the Nordstrands. These are the split 51Ps or the 51P split, whatever the name, split 51. I think it's split P or 51 split P, I think is what it is, from Nordstrand Audio. And then also the Sacrilege control plate by Circuit Electronics.